Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's talk a little bit about price here. I've got all sorts of opinions from multiple analysts in this video. One says that Bitcoin is on track to hit $100,000. I've got another analyst that's talking about XRP being poised for another breakout. I've got other information. Check this out. This is maybe even more interesting, frankly. I don't know what the hell to put in the title of this video as I record it. I'm going to have to come up with it after I record it. But this is cool. Check this out. And I'm going to show you the specifics of this in just a moment. But right now, in terms of volume for the cryptocurrency asset class, it's at its highest ever. In the 10-year history of cryptocurrencies, right now the volume is the highest it's ever been. Now, specifically, it was a few days ago. I'll show you all the specifics, but think about that. That's just crazy, especially given the current price levels. And I'll tell you what I think this means. So I'm going to be running to that. I've got some other stories related to price, and we're just going to have a gosh darn good time here. Put on your party hats. Before we get going, though, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP and you love your mama, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. She would approve. Let's dig into this right now. Real quick recap. Market cap for the crypto asset class, $247 billion with a B. Bitcoin at $9,410. XRP at 29.6 cents. And we've got here, you know, I show these charts when I talk about price. It's been trading sideways for the last 24 hours. That's more interesting when there's like little stepping stairs looking at things on the graph, but not so much today. Been considering how volatile it was on Friday with that huge pop, in particular Bitcoin price. Over the last 24 hours, it seemed quite tame by comparison. Let me show you this first before I get into opinions from analysts. This is what I was talking about in terms of volume. Now, perhaps you can pull this information up on Live Coin Watch, which is my preferred website. And they've got a new layout, though. I didn't immediately know how to get to it, but I did on CoinMarketCap, so that's why this is on the screen. I don't normally pull up CoinMarketCap just because it's not my favorite. But nonetheless, you can see right here. So this is a chart from 2013 to 2019. And look at so this is the volume right here, the 24-hour volume. This little tiny gray section that I'm highlighting here. Now I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to change the dates on the chart to paint a better picture, but look. The highest it's ever been is right here. Let me go ahead and just change this date if you don't mind, because you can already see it's within the last few days. Clearly the highest volume that there has been, so I'll just make this up. So we need to change the 2013 to a 2019, and let's just change this to September, and let's just see what it does after it reloads here. Reload, damn it. There we go. Okay, so now we got the volume right here. So that's this gray stuff right here, and you can see the highest was right here, I guess the volume part's probably right about here. 24-hour volume, something in the neighborhood. I'm going to round it, ballpark it. 155 billion in 24-hour volume. That's outrageous. Now, what's fascinating to me about that, consider that the all-time high for in terms of market cap for the asset class, it was 800 something billion. I don't know. It's again ballparking. It doesn't matter. 850 billion. Let's call it somewhere around there. And this volume, with the market cap being at 250 billion. Rather than 850 billion, just 250 billion, the volume is higher. That's amazing. Now, what I have seen, and I'm not a chart guy, and I want to be clear up front, because I am talking about price a lot in this video. I don't have a financial background. This is not financial advice. Do not buy or sell because of me. I'm just talking about this as an enthusiast within the XRP community. That is it. Anything I say is not meant to persuade you to do or not do something, especially as far as it pertains to buying and selling. But from what I've read from chart analysts, people that maybe do this, analytics or traders, career-wise, this or that, from what I've read, volume can frequently mean, when you see dramatic volumes, jump up in volume, even if the price isn't necessarily doing nutso stuff, it can be an indicator. From my understanding is, it can be a big indicator that something big is about to happen, but it could be good or it could be bad, right? But it just means, typically, from what I've gathered, that something big could be around the corner. Most of the chart analysts and traders that I've been following seem to have primarily bull sentiment. There are some that do seem to be, there are some that would be bearish, but even the ones that are bearish, it's more like for the short term. That's just what the charts are showing them, but they still have, within the next, say, 12 months or so, a lot of them are still like, yeah, it could be not so hot in the very short term, but some, and I'm going to show you specifics in this video, but some are like, yeah, but if you go, think about Bitcoin's halving coming up in May of next year. They start to get around that type of time period, things could really be looking pretty good. Take a look at this article from AMB Crypto titled XRP Poised for Positive Breakout as Ascending Triangle Pattern Takes Over. Bitcoin's recent price movement has prompted many altcoins to post significant gains on the cryptocurrency charts. XRP has been struggling to keep hold of the key 30-cent level, as has been trading below it for a while, despite its peer coins recording upward momentum. And I always like to point out XRP in terms of correlation of price action to Bitcoin. XRP is the second to least correlated to Bitcoin in terms of price action out of the top 10 cryptocurrencies. So not a surprise, not a surprise that you'd see when Bitcoin jumps up, the other altcoins first jump up. That's not an indication that something's weird about XRP or that something has changed. If you just look historically, we already know this. And so if you're listening to this video and you haven't heard me say that, and there's plenty of people coming on board all the time, that's why I like to harp on this point when I talk about this type of thing. It's because it's just a matter-of-fact thing. If you look at charts, you don't have to be a smart chart analyst. I am not a chart analyst. I have no interest in learning how to read charts. I really don't. I'm a fundamentals guy. But even I've looked back at charts over the past 5 years, price action of XRP, compare it to Bitcoin, and it just stays flat for long periods of times, and then it jumps up. If you zoom out on a chart enough, you can see that. But still, it is quite clearly moving in tandem with Bitcoin at key moments, for sure. And moving down here, then this is a very short-term outlook anyway. So they cite the medium-term chart for XRP exhibited an overall positive sentiment for the coin's future. If the trend persists, the coin, XRP, could potentially tread levels not seen since the crypto market spiraled down in the last week of September. So, positive, right? Nonetheless, let's move into the next piece now. Take a look at this from Daily Hodl. Crypto Analyst says Bitcoin back on track to $100,000. This is substantial. Even though this is an XRP-centric channel, we got to talk about this because, as I just stated, XRP, like it or hate it, and I'm not for it, I want XRP to break free, but it is in slow motion. I made that point, though. Yeah, XRP is breaking free of Bitcoin in terms of price action. It's in slow motion, though, day to day. It's very slow motion. But still, Bitcoin and XRP, look, XRP's almost always following Bitcoin. If one's leading the other. There have been 3 instances this year, I believe, where XRP led the market, which is still mind-blowing, don't get me wrong, but it's usually Bitcoin doing that. So anyway, from Bitcoin's stock-to-flow ratio to a new proposal from the creator of Ethereum, here's a look at some of the stories breaking in the world of crypto. After nearly running off course, the popular crypto analyst Plan B says Bitcoin is back on track to hit $100,000. The analyst, whose Bitcoin projections have made it all the way to CNBC, says Bitcoin's stock-to-flow ratio shows the leading cryptocurrency right on target after nearly running into a ditch. On Thursday, before the start of Bitcoin's big rally, Plan B retweeted analysis from fellow Bitcoiner Rob Wolfram, who said Bitcoin came within one standard error of his stock-to-flow model. Stock-to-flow measures the amount of new supply that's entering the market for a given asset against its current available supply. It's often used to gauge the future price of precious metals like gold. In the short term, Chad's Trading, known as Big Chads on Twitter, that's how you gotta say it, Big Chads, tells his 74,000 followers that Bitcoin is fighting to hold its 8-day exponential moving average, a sign that it may soon pull back, and there's the tweet in question right there. So, a couple opinions. Look, Bitcoin's not going away anytime soon, so I will not at all be surprised if, indeed, I don't know how long it takes, I will not at all be surprised if Bitcoin hits $100,000. But still, my investment thesis, and it's for the long term, utility matters and will win the day. That's why I'm with XRP. Bitcoin doesn't do anything. All right, next, here's a piece from you today. Bitcoin bull market has resumed after a 40% surge. Fundstrat's analyst Tom Lee. And this guy's on like CNBC and news all the time right here. And he's pretty active on Twitter. Anyway, Fundstrat's Tom Lee believes that Bitcoin's latest price increase wasn't just a flash in the pan. The prominent analyst says that the top coin has resumed its bullish rally after the interim risk-off period ended. And here's the tweet in question. And from Tom Lee, it states, "A lot of signals past few days in crypto and Bitcoin. China, so he's got little bullet points here basically. China, friendly policy. Next one, new all-time high S&P 500, positive. Next, Bitcoin misery index bottomed on October 24th at 36, rebounding, positive. And then the fourth point, massive price gain on Bitcoin Friday, which that was massive. It was the third biggest gain of Bitcoin in history. The third biggest. It's substantial. And I think that would have been in terms of percentage, I believe, anyway. Then he writes, interim risk-off ended and bull market resumes. And then he writes this, okay, so there's a subheading here, moving in tandem with U.S. stocks. As reported by you today, Lee claimed that Bitcoin was ambidextrous, suggesting that it can do fine in both risk-on and risk-off environments. Considering that the S&P 500 rallied to a new all-time high on Monday, it might signal that investors' appetites for risk have grown significantly as of recently. Earlier, Lee voiced a theory that there is a clear correlation between the U.S. stock market and Bitcoin, but this theory is not popular within the crypto community. And I did report it just for what it's worth. Indeed, he does believe that it's highly correlated. All right, next here. Here's a tweet from Patty Stash, XRP community chart analyst. He tweeted this out. The stage is set. Altcoin dominance came back and retested support just as I've been expecting all this time. Now is when I expect alts to blow their top. We should find out in the next week or so. Let's do this. And here's the picture, the chart of altcoin dominance associated with this. And again, I do conceptually agree that this should happen at some point. And you don't have to be a chart analyst to have that. To me, I'm looking at fundamentals to derive that conclusion, which is just that you can just go to CoinMarketCap, go to Live Coin Watch, and you can see that the alt market is not dead. It's not just Bitcoin being traded. There's XRP, there's Ethereum, there's a bazillion top-ranked coins that are not going away anytime soon, even if they should. And so it doesn't make sense to me that Bitcoin would perpetually rise by itself and not the altcoins, especially when it's quite clear that humans have not determined, they're in a frenzy around the asset class, they have not determined which coins should and will have staying power. The markets just haven't figured that out. Given that we're in a frenzy here, it makes no sense to me that Bitcoin would continue to run and XRP and the others would not. Makes no sense in the world. Now, some of those ICO scams from 2017, yeah, they're gone, fine. But the rest of it, that stuff that's still clearly being traded today, that's enough evidence for me to be like, yeah, this is how humans behaving. They're not going to stop behaving like this. So, of course, if Bitcoin goes up and the market follows Bitcoin, and we know it does, there's evidence for that also, of course. And even if XRP is less correlated, of course, it's going to follow. There will be a parabolic run-up, and it will, at some point, smash past, XRP will smash past its all-time high of $3.92. That's my opinion. Don't take it as gospel, because it is not financial advice. Period. I want to say that again. Just regular Joe Schmo Moon Lambo here with a stupid name, so consider that. All right, next here. So this is from Crypt Talk, XRP community member. Tweets this out. XRP. Swell 2018 pump was to trigger the next rally target. This year it won't pump one shot like last year. Just expect a rally like in 2017. I made a full video about this and how these pumps a year before are here to trigger the bots. And so that's an opinion from Crypt Talk. I just thought I'd share it with you. He's a chart analyst. I don't know. Look, I can only approach this from a non-technical analysis point of view because I don't know how to do technical analysis, and I have no interest in learning. But from a fundamentals perspective, I can tell you this is only the third annual swell ever, right? And last year, yeah, there was a huge run-up, but I think that was really mostly due to the news. There was a rumor, which ended up being true, of XRapid about to go into the production version, so I think that had a lot to do with it. I'm not so sure. We'll see. I'm not so sure it's going to be the same this year, but I don't know. All right, next, we got this tweet. I just wanted to cite this. So Peter Brandt, he was in the news. I cited a tweet from him, which is on the screen here. I don't really want to reread it. It was about XRP from October 25th, so it's a few days old. But some people have cited that Peter Brandt is a Bitcoin maxi. I have said that as well. In terms of fundamentals, he believes that Bitcoin makes more sense. He's not really into altcoins, so I think that's probably fair to say. I'm not saying that as pejorative towards him at all. But some people have claimed that as a result, the analysis he puts out there in terms of price action, maybe it's kind of skewed by his personal views. And I don't know. I can't speak to what's in the guy's heart for sure, but I will say this. I thought it was silly when he was putting out predictions that XRP perhaps would go down as low as 16 cents. But on the flip side, to be fair, he has recently called that Bitcoin could go far below what anyone else has. I haven't seen anyone else say. And by the way, Peter Brandt, he's got 300,000 followers. He's got a best-selling book on Amazon, and he's been a trader for like several decades, okay? He says that it's just weeks ago. He cited that Bitcoin could go as low as like 5,200 to 5,300. So, to be fair, I don't know what's in his heart. I don't know what's in his mind. But I can say, even if you think that was too harsh of a prediction for XRP and it ended up not coming to pass, fine. And he didn't say. By the way, he didn't say that it would. He said potentially if Bitcoin hit a certain point, and Bitcoin did not hit that certain point, so it invalidated the path for XRP to go that route anyway. But it's similar thing. So with Bitcoin, he said, it's possible it could go down to 5,200 to 5,300. Bitcoin maxis don't like hearing that, and they haven't liked hearing it. And so it could perhaps be the case that he is just being honest, and this is what he thinks. Perhaps his opinions aren't actually being tainted because he's a Bitcoin maxi. At least he seems that way to me. Again, don't know. But before I had learned more about him, when I started covering him, it's okay to be a skeptic up front. I was just kind of wondering to myself, is this why? Are these low XRP price predictions out there because of this? And I'm not so sure now because he loves Bitcoin and he's had some low expectations of that as well. So you just take that for what it's worth. I just thought I'd mention it. All right, next here. I don't really want to read through this. I mostly just wanted to read the headline more than anything else. New Bitcoin stock to flow chart shows bearish periods precede halvings. And so I'm not really going to read through this. I don't want the video to go too long, but if you care to read through this, it's on Cointelegraph. And it just cites that historically, now mind you, I say historically, there have only been 2 halvings of Bitcoin, so take that for what it's worth. But there appears to be some evidence that could lead you to believe that there could be a bearish period prior. But of course, we also know that immediately following that, historically, see if history repeats itself, but it could be massive gains as a result of the effect of halving has on supply and demand. All right, next here, this is from CoinDesk. This is titled "Bitcoin's 4-month bear trend intact even after 16% price rise." I'm just going to read the bullet points on this one. There's 3 of them. Number 1, Bitcoin remains trapped in a 4-month falling channel despite registering double-digit gains last week. 2, prices could pull back to former resistance turn support of $8,800 in the next 24 hours. The bearish case would be invalidated above 9,730. 3, a weekly close or 2 consecutive daily closes above the falling channel hurdle at 9,730 are needed to confirm a resumption of the bull rally from April lows around $4,000. So there you go. Multiple opinions from multiple chart analysts and some other interesting stuff, including what I shared with you about all-time highs in terms of cryptocurrency volume, which I think is substantial, but we will see what happens there. And you can tell me what you think in the comments below, but that is it for this video. Thanks for stopping by. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!